I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a kick-ass intro. Kudos to Angelina. So as you see, she's not here with me, but she will be in chat. Angelina, we're with you. So anyways, so welcome, 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 everybody. I see some people already in the comments. Doof, welcome, welcome. Not Too Haunted, welcome. So before I introduce my special guest or our special guest, a couple of shout outs. To definitely, you want to definitely, this special guest of ours, you want to definitely watch, like, subscribe her channel. She's totally awesome. And this is my first time meeting her I would say in person, but it's through live stream. But I am so looking forward to meeting her. If anybody wants to ask questions, please do so with a queue. And then ask the questions. We're probably going to get to all the questions towards the end of the show. So without further ado, I want to introduce, not only is she a paranormal investigator, but the host of Rawside Paranormal. Let's welcome Laura. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Well, welcome, welcome. I'm honored to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Oh, hopefully it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Hi to everybody in the chat.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Blossom. Angelina's in the chat.
Yeah, I see you there. Hey, Bill. How's it going?
Yeah. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? So, Laura, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Oh, okay. Well, and everybody knows, well, mostly everybody knows that my name's Laura and I'm with Rawside Paranormal. And I do an interviewing program on my channel. That's pretty much what I'm known for. I don't get out and investigate that much anymore because, I'm getting older and, I'm hindered by, certain disabilities. So makes it a little more difficult. But I've been in the paranormal field about 20 or so years. And it's had its ups and downs, a lot of exciting moments. And it's been, I'm an artist and a wife, mother, a caretaker, an observer of people. I love to watch people and study people. And I don't know, I just have a good time at what I do. And it's pretty much a jack of all trades is what I'd probably be labeled as far as a jewelry maker. I work with leather products that I make. Well, I used to do. I can't because, arthritis, so I can't handle the equipment anymore. So I pretty much put that all down aside. And that's when I started working more on my YouTube channel because it was just easier, on this old lady body. But if I do, people do request certain things and I will make it for them. It just takes me a little longer.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm a lover of music, and, and art and just, nature. I spend a lot of time out in the woods. As soon as we have a chance, we hop in our truck and head for the mountains and hang out in the trees, and that's where, I find peace is out there among the trees and the lakes. So that's what we do in our downtime.
Yeah. I love being out in nature. You just tune in and just see what's around you and experience it,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you get rid of all of the noise of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, he said, we go there and we'll be there for a few days. And I just pretty much vegetate and just, take it all in. And then it's really depressing when you have to pack up and go home.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's like you want to stay like in that moment, but everyday life comes at you, that you have to take care of as well.
Yes. So yeah, so it's nice to be able just to get away and just leave it all behind. And like Angelina we were talking earlier, she said, sometimes adulting is very difficult.
Yeah.
And it is. And it stinks, but there's things that we just have to do and get it done. And then when you get to the point, like, where I'm at, where my parents are elderly and, my mom has dementia. So it's like caring for a child all over again.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm also, my mother's starting to get dementia as well. So I totally know where you're coming from.
It's a long road, and
it
God
is.
be with you, because it's a long road.
Yeah.
And it's long and hard on everybody that's involved. I mean, not just the person themselves, because they're losing who they are.
Yeah.
And that's what it is that they call it the slow death, because that's what the brain is shrinking. And they also call it is a category 3 diabetes is what they are labeling it.
Wow.
Excuse me. So I don't know. Generally, I mean, they're still trying to figure out what causes it, but it's connected to the diabetes family. And I think they're doing experimentation with using diabetes medications to help control it in early stages. So if your mom's in early stages, you might want to have talk to the doctor about it. And maybe they could reverse what's going on, where my mother is already, my mother's she's like a 3-year-old.
Yeah. And I bet you it's hard to see this as well, because my mother was she grew up in the military, she traveled, her stepfather was in the military. He was a sergeant. So she traveled around. So she was a very dominant person. And to see her gradually lose that and not even really remembering, starting to forget things, it is hard to see.
Yep. And it happens very gradually. Mm-hmm. So you might not pick up on certain things, but then from one day to the next, they've completely forgot something.
Yeah.
Or, and then you'll say, oh, well, this is this. Oh, yeah. But, and then it'll get to be where it just disappears.
Yeah.
And then they have no clue. So I'm lucky enough to, to own a 2-family home. So my parents are right below me.
Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
All I got to do is just get up, go down and take care of what I got to take care of, and get them going for the day, and then continue on my day.
Chrissy Hillberry. Welcome.
Yeah, he said, come down here in the hills where I am. You would love it. Oh, yes, I love it. I do. I love it. Everybody goes, aren't you afraid of the bears? No, the bears around here aren't after
not.
you.
No.
I had a friend that took her out one time with us, and they're like, oh my God, I don't know how you guys can sleep out here. I go, listen, the only way the bear is going to be interested in you is if you got a pork chop tied around your neck. Otherwise, forget it. They don't want you. They want our garbage.
Yeah.
If you just leave them alone, they look over and they go, oh, okay, whatever. And then they keep going. They don't bother anybody.
Yeah, it's funny. I grew up in the city. It wasn't until, within the past maybe 10 or 15 years now I'm in the suburbs. But I absolutely love it. If I didn't have neighbors around me for miles away, I wouldn't mind.
It's great, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, that's, I know people yell, you're crazy. No, we're not crazy. That's what we love. That's where our peace is. And that's where we go. And maybe,
Yeah.
who knows, a few years down the road, I can afford it. I'll move up that way permanently. And then I told everybody, you'll have to come visit me because I'm never coming back down towards the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we live on the outskirts of the city, and it's a village that we live in, but I mean, we're like right on the border. So it's still, pretty congested and sometimes. And I just say, let's go. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought I would miss the city, but I don't miss like the traffic, and I don't miss like the loud music at 2 a.m. in the morning, somebody driving by. It's peaceful. It really is. So Laura, how did you get actually involved in the paranormal?
Well, of course, most people have heard this, but I started when I was 8 years old. It was the story I was telling you before we went on. It happened actually in a castle in a town only about 20 minutes away from where I live now. My aunt was the caretaker, so me and my cousins were able to spend summers there. And the castle was completed in 1836, I believe. Excuse me. And it was owned by a woman, part of the Kruger Douglas family. And her main home was in New York City, but she loved this piece of property. And when she was a child, she fell in love with a castle in Scotland that was part of her family lineage. And so she had this castle kind of, she had that on her mind, but it wasn't a complete replica of the castle, but she did it to make her feel like it was. And so when she passed, she wanted to be buried in the crypt that was in the basement, and they didn't do that. They buried her in New York City. So it was cataloged and recorded in the history books that she was the poltergeist of the castle. So then I was staying there with my cousins. It was it had to be probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Something woke me up, and I could hear footsteps coming down the hallway, and also, believe it or not, rattling of chain noises, so metal noises, something. So I got up, opened the door, poked my head out, and called for my grandmother and my aunt, and nobody answered me. But the footsteps kept coming, and so of course, as a kid, scared the shit out of me. So I ran back in the room and tried to wake up my cousins, and nobody would get up. They would not wake up. I don't know why. So all I could do was just jump back in bed and cover up my head. Where was I going? I couldn't go out the window. So I just laid there and listened, and the footsteps came all the way to the door, and then they stopped.
Wow.
And that was it. So that morning, I got up and I talked to my aunt about it, and she started laughing and then told me the story behind the castle and the haunting. And actually, I have a cousin that had more things happen to her while she was there.
Wow.
Seeing an apparition of a little girl, as well as the woman. Hi, Dom. Hi, everybody. Excuse me. So it was a very, I don't know, I wouldn't say traumatic, but it was scary because I was only 8. And so then as I got older, little things here and there would happen. I consider myself a sensitive, an empath, because I do pick up on these things, people's emotions. Maybe that's why I'm a people watcher instead of, getting in with the crowd, because it's overwhelming for me and will bring on actually an anxiety attack if it's too overwhelming, because I'm just overloaded.
Yeah.
So I always stay back, away from the crowd. But I think maybe that's the reason why that I had that experience at 8 years old.
Wow.
And then as I got older, and a few, friends' homes, I would pick up on things. And then as a teenager in my teenage home, I had the experience of, I was going upstairs to my bedroom and I heard somebody say my name in my ear. It was loud as, or as plain and clear as somebody was right there. And I could feel a heaviness up against my back as I was going up the stairs. So I turned to see, like, it was my father or whatever. And I was, only one on the staircase. It happened a few times there. And then here in the house that I purchased, we have something here as well. And it has also called my name in my ear.
Oh, wow.
And a bunch of other things. I don't break the rule. I don't investigate in my own home.
Okay.
So
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, no. Because we're living in harmony and I
Yeah.
don't want to cause any issues. So, the kids have seen things here. My father has, and I have, and we just leave it as is. And so we just coexist peacefully. And that's how I want to leave it.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, you both have to share the space. So why not,
Right.
You don't want to stir anything up. That's
right.
what I firmly believe.
Wow. So why don't you do that? And I go like, nope. That is a cardinal rule. You never do your own space.
Exactly. So at age 8, how like I can't even imagine, like, what was your emotionally, how did you react with that happening to you?
To be honest, I think I took it pretty well because I didn't panic. I wasn't crying. I was just like, all right, what am I hearing? Because it was the first time I ever heard anything like that or experienced that. So I was trying to process it, I think, but of course, still afraid, but not to the point where it was hysterics. I just ran back to the bed, covered up my head. And then, of course, when I explained it to my father teased me. Oh, well, did you play chess with the ghost? I go, no. But the funny thing was that my father had bought a brand new video camera. And when we got there, he videotaped all of the outside and the grounds. And it was beautiful. And then he went inside, videotaped everything on the inside. And then when we got home and he checked the camera, the only pictures that did come out were the outside ones. Everything on the inside was pitch black. And there was nothing wrong with the camera because it was brand new. And we had pictures of everything else but the inside. So I'm just taking it as that she didn't want the inside of her home to be videotaped.
Yeah.
And it's the only explanation I could come up with.
Yeah. Now, as you got older, and when you actually got into the paranormal with investigating and everything, how was when you went in, actually you did your first paranormal investigation, how was that like for you? Did the past come, did you have emotions, what happened to you in the past, or how were you feeling?
No, I just went in there, did business, and it was all business.
Yeah.
Pretty much, with anything I do, I just jump in with both feet and I go with it.
That's awesome.
And whatever happens. I take it, a step at a time. Of course, back then it was, we had really crappy, cameras and like Polaroids, and I had a cassette recorder. That's what I had. And I never thought I would be doing anything like this on YouTube. So I never kept any of the documentation or, stuff like that, because you figure, well, what the hell am I going to keep this for? The only thing I did keep was one EVP that I captured on a cassette tape.
Okay.
I still have that. And I have a friend of mine who said he's going to help me switch it over to digital so that I can actually share that. That's actually the only thing that I kept. And then, like I said, who knew all this time later I would be doing this? I mean, I've always continued to go out, but never had, anything with me because it was just for myself.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm doing this and have the channel, I know there's nothing for me to share. So when I do get out and I do, I bring everything with me now. And like I said, today I went out, attempted to get some video in and some audio, and they bought the property and fenced off, and so it was a wasted trip.
That's a shame. So. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like the video cassette recorders and the little dual cassette players and
it was the regular square cassette player.
The cassette players
on, and that's what I did. I just had it in my hand. And I went up in this, up in the attic area and pushed record. And you could hear in the background, because, it was contaminated. It wasn't, because you could hear my son and my husband were having a conversation. You could hear them clearly. And then there's another man's voice saying, get out.
Wow.
And it was just like that. That was all it said. And I said, okay, I respect your space. And I left. And
That's
like I said, and I
crazy.
think it was so clear because it was on tape. Because I've
Wow.
never gotten anything as clear on any digital recorder. Yet. Put it that way, yet.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah. To be as clear as that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like there was a third person there saying, get out. That's exactly how I was. Get out. And I'm like, okay. Hi, Peaceful Turtle. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's funny too, because when I was growing up, like I had, like kids have imaginary friends, and, we chat with them all the time, not thinking that it's could be actually something paranormal or like a spirit speaking to us. But, back then also that, if you were to say, like I have an imaginary friend, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's normal,
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I think a lot of us have gone through that. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, and that's fine. And then of course, you grow, they'll just grow out of it. And sometimes we don't.
Yeah. So Angelina's asking, what do you not like about the paranormal field? Well, I can answer that right off the bat. I don't know about you.
Well, and see, that's just a really wide question because
Yeah.
is it just as far as investigation goes, or the community, or there's so many things that could be an answer to that question. As far as investigating goes, there's nothing that I don't like.
Yeah.
As far as outside community where you get the skeptics, that all can be explained.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like with the experience as a child, or when I've had the experiences where I've heard my own name in my ear, nobody around. How do you explain that? If it doesn't happen to you, it's easy to say, well, that's BS. It can't be real. But it didn't happen to you. So how do you know? I am skeptical about a lot of things. You have to be, because you got to be able to debunk things properly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
But when you have, a personal experience that's that intimate where somebody's speaking directly to you, excuse me, dry throat already, guys. It's not easy to explain it. You do your best to deal with it and try to debunk it, especially if you're like out into the field. But when you're in a residence and even your own home and you're by yourself and you hear somebody, a man's voice calling your name in your ear, how can you debunk that? How can you explain it or explain it away, or it just, you can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, and that brings me to, getting into the field, to the subject, research and evidence. After you being a paranormal investigator for, I would say, decades in the field, what kind of evidence or experience has been the most compelling for you in a search to the proof, like life of death, or, is there life after death?
Actually, that one I believe would be pretty easy for me, because there is a local legend in this area, and it has to do actually outside, and a place is called Star Hill.
Okay.
The road is Star Hill Road, and the legend of the road is that back in the 1800s, a doctor was coming home from a call, bad weather, and he rolled his horse and buggy, and it killed him. And many people have seen this. So when you go up there and you sit at night at the top of the hill, you have forest on one side, and then on the other side, it's farmland. And you see this, it's a big ball of light. I would have to say, about the size of our heads, maybe even a little bigger.
Yeah.
And it just appears out of nowhere above the road right in front of you. I am in awe over that because I'm trying to figure out how this is happening.
Yeah.
And my plan, hopefully, I know I'm so weighted down with so much going on. I wanted to get up there this summer and to be able to sit up there and film that and see if I could catch it, because I mean, it doesn't happen every night, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And the only thing that makes me doubt what it could be is because there is a NASA installation that is further up on one of the adjacent roads up on the hill. And then that comes into question. Is it paranormal? Is it UFO related? Is NASA doing something? Because you don't see a beam of light coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
So they would instantly, okay, it's a spotlight and it's shining down in it. But why would it collect as a giant sphere of light in the middle of the road? That travels. It does go up and down the road. And then I've had stories told to me about where sometimes it's traveled past their vehicles, and then after that you can't start your car for about 10 minutes. It just won't start.
Yeah.
So what is it? So that is, I'm really amazed by that. And I've seen the light myself, and I want to know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. That's, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I honestly believe also that there's a life after death, whether or not you're reincarnated into another human being, whether or not you have a choice what you want to be reincarnated in. But I definitely do believe that there's another life, and it's weird because, like people tell me that my past life was in the Victorian/medieval era. So I truly believe in it. I really do.
Well, yeah, everybody has these beliefs, and
yep.
Said and to explain something like that, they're like, oh, there has to be an explanation. Well, if there is, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
We're out there trying to figure that out. We're trying to find the truth. If the light, that hovers above the road is crap and somebody's pulling a gag, they've been doing it for a long, long time. I mean, this is years. And when I was 15, 16, we were always up there parked on the hill waiting for that light to show up. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we would see it and sometimes we wouldn't. So, I mean, and I always tell everybody the paranormal doesn't, happen because you want it to. It's you just have to be there right at the right time. Or, they're not circus animals. They're going to do when they want to,
Yeah.
I think it happens more frequently when there's only just a couple of people up there. Yeah. I think when you have a bunch of people, that's usually when nothing actually happens. So when you're up there, I mean, I've been up there, with just me and a friend sitting there, and it showed up. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to capture this, try to capture it on video, and then try to figure out what the heck it is. Because as soon as it shows up, it disappears again. So, I mean,
Kiwi has a question. What is your definition of the word paranormal?
I think the paranormal actually covers a lot of ground. It's just the world of the unknown. Mm-hmm. Not just as far as, spirits, if you want to call them that, ghosts, whatever. I think it also has to lean towards any unknown subject, UFOs, like you said, reincarnation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of fields out there, and I think that all falls under that word. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to get into a little bit of faith and beliefs.
Excuse me.
So as your role as an ordained minister, how does that play into the paranormal field?
The only part, I'm sorry guys, my throat is really dry and I'm trying not to choke. The only part that I think it really plays is that because I have strong faith,
Mm-hmm.
that I am always protected no matter where I go. So even if it's just, walking around the house, going to the store, or on an investigation, God is with me. He's got my back. Excuse me. So I think that's why I've never had any kind of issues with attachment
Mm-hmm.
or anything negative, come towards me or fall on my shoulders. I think it's important that you have some kind of belief, no matter what, your religious beliefs are. I think you have to have some kind of a faith as a protection base. I mean, that's my opinion. But I don't find, I've done house blessings and stuff like that as well, but not as far as residential investigations. I don't do those because that is a long-term commitment. It's not like you can go in there and do your blessings and this and it's all over with and cleaned up. It's not. You have to go back many times, and you have to take care of these people, and so that's why I've never done really any residentials. But I'm trying to read questions and answer at the same time. It's a bad habit from doing my own show.
Okay, Carl. In the paranormal field, a place when paranormal football is played. So, in what ways has your work in the paranormal helped you grow as a person?
Well, it's taught me not to believe everything you see. Always trust that your best equipment is your own intuition and your senses when you do any kind of investigating, even though the gadgets and the gizmos are fun, but that's still all just an experiment. But it's taught me to be patient,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding, and open. You have to be open, and just like you asked the questions about the minister part is I'm very open to people's beliefs. You have to be, because not just one belief is correct. So yeah, it teaches me patience. I think is the most thing that I've gotten out of it. I mean, you have to. You're sitting for hours in the dark,
Yeah.
or even in the daytime, because I do a lot of stuff during the daytime. Most of my cemetery stuff is in the daytime, because most of them are locked down, and they're very serious about trespassing around here. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get permission, then you don't go after dark. But yeah, patience is how it helped me grow. Yes, Carl's right. Your brain is better than any gadget you can buy. You are 100% right.
Exactly.
Because that's, at least you can trust that, 100%, which I think anybody can.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the basic rule is when in doubt, you throw it out. Because if you're doubting, the validity or the legitimacy of what you're looking at or dealing with, then it's probably not what you think it is. If that makes any sense to anybody, like, okay, the door is slammed or this and that, there's an explanation for it, most likely. And once you've debunked it and tried everything, and like I said, you get things, okay, we'll go by, you slam the door. Did that sound like it? Or how easy is it for the door to move or the window to move? Or, what are the conditions outside? Or, that's what I say, your senses are and your gut is number one. Always go with that. And then, you play with the gadgets. The gadgets are, because not everybody bashes the gadgets. I get it. But you know what? There might be at one point that the gadgets might bring up something that you can't figure out. There's always that chance. That doorway is always open. So I always tell everybody, just be open to it. Even though you might not 100% believe in it, don't rely on it. Don't let it, run your investigation. You never do that. You run the investigation with your, your gut.
Yeah.
The gadgets are just part of the experiment, because that's really what this is an experiment in a search. So it's, that's pretty much what it is. And until somebody actually comes up with 100% proof, we're all still just searching. And that's what it is. I mean, who knows? We never may find out the truth until our time is here, you know?
Exactly. 100% agree with you. Exactly. You know, a lot of times when you go out investigating, 95% of the time, if not more, is you don't catch anything, you know?
Right. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because that's what I'm saying. You watch a lot of these fake programs, and oh, we got this, and we got this, and I go, you got to give me a break, man.
Exactly.
You know, people have been doing this for 20 plus years. They're lucky if they've gotten like 4 or 5 things tops, you know, that they could actually call unexplainable and paranormal. You know, and these guys, it's every other week. Oh, I've had this happen or had that happen. No, you haven't.
Yeah, I know. Definitely.
No, you haven't.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I want to. Keely's got a question.
Yes.
Says, how have you found the paranormal field changed over? Yes, I have.
Yes.
I think it's more commercialized, more glamorized, especially because of YouTube. The drama in the paranormal field is just horrendous, and I am not a drama person, and I don't like it. I think it turns people ugly, and you know, a lot of them don't mean to, but they do. And there's actually just recently in the last few months, I've seen a lot of things change, and I'm not comfortable with it. So you got to work around that. Just stick to what you believe in and what you feel is important. And I just, you know, the rest of it gets thrown to the wayside. You can't be involved in all of it, because then it eats at your soul. It really does.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I 100% agree with you as well. I think it's a lot. There's been a lot of drama lately, more recently than ever.
Oh, it's terrible. It's been terrible.
You know, it's getting to the point now, if I even see it on YouTube, I don't watch them. I just want to stay out of it, you know? I just want to be neutral and stay out of everything.
Right. And see, the thing is, you know, being interviewers, we have to stay neutral.
Exactly.
You know, we can't just say, oh, this, and I believe this, that we can't, because we have to be in a neutral position so that we do talk to people. You know, we can, you know, offer them a free platform, you know, a fair space to, you know, give their opinions and their insight. And that's the way we have to be. So we have to kick it to the curb, you know. Yeah. We can have a personal opinion, but we keep it to ourselves.
Exactly.
You know, we can't, you know, impress that on the people that we are dealing with, because it's not fair. You know, you can't be one-sided. And yes, Carl, I agree with you. It is sad that that's what they're all after. They're it's who could get the most, you know, likes, the most views, the most clicks, and get on that top 5 channel crap. And the thing is, it's starting to really, I'm sorry, I'm venting a little bit, but it's a paranormal field. You've got the paranormal channels. Where is the paranormal videos? You know, you want to do drama-based crap, do a different channel. We're looking for, you know, your investigations. We're looking for their experiences. We're looking for their advice and their, you know, their information and intelligence towards the field, not the crap that's getting built up around it. And so that's the thing that I've noticed lately in the last few months. And I want all of our guys to get back out there, you know, because like I said, I'm limited. I can't get out as much as I would love to, but I just physically cannot do it. So I'm counting on these guys that are out there. Get out there, do your investigations, because we want to see this. We want to see the places you go. We want to see your evidence, and we want to interview so we can be a part of it. And I just want them to get back to their base roots, you know, back to what we're here for, instead of all the other shit.
You know,
but over, guys.
But that's the problem. I mean, they consider themselves boring if no excitement happens. And that's right. Like raw footage. Like, I would rather sit down and watch actual true self paranormal investigators do an investigation and watch an hour of them sitting around, nothing happening, rather than, just like faking. I would rather see that, because then you can see that them being true to themselves, being true to the community. So
yes, and you're learning as you're watching that process. A lot of people, I get it, boring. Oh, this is boring. But see, it's a learning process. And if you truly are Dom, preach, is if you really want to know what we do, the things that we've gone through and experienced, the boring part comes with it.
Exactly.
But even though it might be boring, you are scanning that room and listening just like they are when they are in that investigation. So there's a lot of times where I've watched people's videos and they didn't hear something, but you'd catch something. So you message them, go back to this time frame. Is this what I'm hearing, or is it contamination? A lot of them don't know that they've missed something. So then when they go back over the footage, then, there was something there. So then it makes them look into it even further to see what else they've missed. That's what that's our job, to help them as much as they are helping us.
Exactly. Kiwi actually has a question. What are your feelings on demonic claims?
Okay, guys, I'm on the fence about that one. I do believe in good and there is evil. You can't have one without the other. Whether it is demonic or not, I don't know. I've never had that experience. God be that I never do. People have claimed that they have. There's only a small few that I believe. I joke around and say this is the year of the demon, because they all got the videos out there. A demon did this, and if a demon actually attacked you, I don't think you'd be bragging about it on a video. I think that it would literally scare you to death. And I like I said, I don't know if you want to call them demons. Fine, if that's what you want to call them. Evil entity or spirit, that's how I would label it, because not all spirit is a good person. It could be somebody that was rotten in life and they just brought it over with them, and they have issues, Yeah. But like I said, I can't say yes or no as far, because I've never had any experience with any kind of a demonic entity, and I hope I never do, to be honest. I do loving this, but I don't want to go that far.
That's true.
I could be grouchy enough on my own. On my own, I don't need a I don't need a demon attachment to help me out.
So history, okay? How do you think the history of the paranormal research influences current practices and beliefs?
I'm sorry. Could you I was distracted. Repeat that.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
How do you think the history of the paranormal research influences current practices and beliefs?
I mean, the paranormal has been around, guys, believe it or not, since the late 1700s.
Wow.
I did, I don't know if everybody knows about the magazine that I put out just recently. I do have historical, paranormal information, and I do have an article about that, on how pretty much the paranormal started, and how who started it, why they started it. It's all in there. It was, basically a man dominated field from day one, and I believe that we have progressed to now where women are more involved and are very important just as much as the men in the field. As far as technology goes, I think we've done, leaps and bounds from those days, because they didn't even have any kind of way of recording any kind of audio or video as that goes. So it was all just hearsay. So yes, I think we have definitely improved. I would really like somebody to come up with better equipment. Because I did have talks with people that are, uh, experts in the field of audio and stuff like that. And I do believe that the spirits do communicate on different frequency levels. So if we could come up with something that could capture many levels of frequency that we could use out in the field, I think we would end up having more success as far as like EVPs go, and just basic noises go. I think it's just something I think they're working on. People are working on stuff. We just, I guess, have to wait and see.
Yeah, yeah. What is your go-to a piece of equipment that you use? Do you have anything in particular?
I don't have a lot of equipment because this girl don't have a lot of money. So I just use the basic cameras, a couple of cameras, and a digital recorder.
Yeah, yeah.
For now.
What do you think? What do you think about phone apps?
Phone apps, I've played around with them. Most of them I think are crap. Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys. I did have an experience with one phone app that did catch me off guard. So I am continuing to do some testing and experimentation with this app, only because of what happened. It was just a freakish thing. I downloaded it on my way to the location. And then when I got to the location, I shut everything off that didn't need to be on the phone, and every other gadget was all left out into the vehicle. I just brought the phone inside, turned on the app, and set it on the table and sat there. And all of a sudden, just this name, Charlie, come up. I thought to myself, okay. And I shut it off. So then when I spoke to the owner, I said, who is Charlie? She goes, well, Charlie's my brother who passed away 2 months ago. She goes, you happen to be sitting in his chair. I said, okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know. How did the app know to spit out the name Charlie? I get it. They have word banks, but why pick that name, that house, while I'm sitting in this guy's chair? Yeah. I need to find out why. So I haven't had a chance to get back to that location. I'm hoping this fall I can. And I'm going to try it again. Same exact thing. Just turn it on, leave it, and see if Charlie comes up again. As far as, and K2 meters, I only use those when I do my dry run through the building. I might have it on every now and then during an investigation. But what I'm pretty much all that it's made for is to check for, EMF, electrical current of any kind. So you need to make sure that, that the property is shut down or, and it's difficult nowadays because you go to places where the wiring and all that stuff is underground. So if houses are shut down, you still might have current running through wiring that is underneath the property. So you have to record all of that. And then I try to also keep track of temperature change. I think that is a key. Because, most time when people have experienced being touched or something goes on, the temperature changes at that moment. So I think it's very important to record all of that. Even though it might end up being nothing, still record it, keep track of it. Because a lot of places you're going to go multiple times. So you, like you say, because I was here on this day and this time, this is the temperature between this part of the room and that part of the room. And then when you go back, you see if it repeats itself. I just think that kind of information to be cataloged is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to kind of put a question out there for you, which I wrote down. What's the funniest or most unexpected reaction you received when sharing your experiences in the paranormal?
I get to look like what are you doing, ghost hunting? I laugh.
Get that all the time.
I go, yep. That's about it. And either they love it and think it's great, or otherwise they just shake their head and roll their eyes. And I'm like, well, you do your thing, I do mine. Hi, Michael. Welcome.
Hi, Michael.
Everybody has their judgments.
Good to see you.
I'm not a judge, but Yeah, you could get some interesting responses. I have a friend of, oh, you're doing that ghost thing. I forgot. That's what I.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I get that all the time. You
So
do
yeah, you
what?
never know. Yeah, you do what? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? So I want to talk a little bit about your magazine since we haven't
Okay.
talked about it yet. Um, so as a contract, oh God, my voice is getting a little off as well.
It's
Um,
we dry, guys. The fans
yeah,
blowing on
yeah.
me, just
Oh
drying
my
it right
God.
out.
So as a content creator and a magazine editor, what themes or messages do you hope to convey through your work?
Um, well, it is a community-based magazine. It was my idea from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody in the community to be involved. I want you to submit your stories, your experiences, your artwork, your jokes, anything. Advice. Advice is very important. Knowledge about equipment, investigating, everything. I want everybody to be involved because it's a community magazine. I did it for the community, and I want it to be about the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I feature one person or one group every month, and they will be the main story in the magazine. And then there'll be side stories on people here and there. I have, like video pick of the month, debunk of the month, the joke page. We've got something new in the works, which I'm not going to let out for September, which is really fun. So I think everybody's going to kick out of it.
That's
Um,
awesome.
you know, excuse me. And as far as September's, I will say, because I've said it before, actually, I was mentioning on Karen's show that this September's issue is going to be the feature story is women in the paranormal. And I selected 6 women to submit their stories, their experiences on being a woman in the paranormal. If it's been a hindrance or a plus, or what kind of blockades they've had to, get over to achieve where they are, and pretty much what they expect for the future. And then, like I said, I give shout outs to people who have done, great things with their channels. Like, oh, so-and-so's achieved this many subs. Congratulations. Moderators. I give shout outs to moderators. They get an award for that month because the mods do a great job. It's a lot of work to moderate a channel, keep track of
Absolutely.
chats, and I think they deserve recognition. I'm also trying to get, believe it or not, I'd love to have some of the people that are in chat join me just in a basic interview, because
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what their perspective is about what we do from their side. Hi, Paul. Welcome. So I missed a couple of ladies, and they didn't have the time, or they're a little shy. So I'm just going to keep working on that, and I'll get somebody so that, we've all been in, the chat, but this is what we do.
Exactly.
I want to know what our audience thinks on what we do, and what they think about just being in the chat and interacting with people from all over the world. That's what is mind blowing about YouTube. You're used to just working with your own community and friends and families, but then when we're on YouTube, it's people from all over the globe, and it's amazing. I
That's
just it's mind-blowing.
incredible.
It's amazing.
That is
So yes,
awesome.
the magazine actually has increased 10 pages for September, and so I'm waiting to see if we get some more pages in. If not, then they'll go into October's. I'm hoping that I can continue to do it every month,
That's
and then
awesome.
everybody will take part.
That's fantastic. When did you start the magazine?
My first one was August.
Oh wow! Just recently.
It's first
Very
time I worked on a
exciting.
magazine. I just jumped in and said, like I said, jump in with both feet,
That's
and
awesome.
set it all up and got it out there. And I'm getting some good reviews. Everybody is liking what they're seeing. So hopefully, as we grow, it'll be. My actual goal is for the magazine is someday I could get it actually published in paper and have it out there for everybody to see what we're about, see what we do, and enjoy our experiences and our stories. I'd love to have
That's
it in
awesome.
print. So we'll see. Keep our fingers
Yeah,
crossed, guys. We could do that.
that's very exciting. I can't wait. Can't wait. Very exciting. So, so what advice would you give people that wants to get involved in the paranormal from your experience?
Uh, First of all, always do your research. Never
Mm-hmm.
go blind. I know a lot of people don't like to do that kind of thing, but I think it's important to know what you're getting into. Also, always do a daytime run of the property that you plan on investigating, because you never know if you're going to go into an abandoned building. You want to know where the holes are,
Mm-hmm.
if there's vagrants, because you don't want to be walking into somebody's, squatter's space at nighttime and then they come at you with something and you could get hurt. Nobody wants that. So you always make sure, the place is empty. One thing I always do is sit and be quiet so
That's
that
what
you
I
can
do.
absorb the natural noises of the building and the surrounding area, so that when you do your investigation, then you can determine if it's just the house
Mm-hmm.
or something outside, or if it's paranormal. I think that's a big plus. Never go alone, guys. Never, never, never. Because if you do get hurt, you got nobody to help you. So it's always best to go, 2 or 3. I wouldn't do more than 4, because then you got a better chance of contamination or things just screwing up. So I would never do more than 4, but never ever go alone.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, my advice would just be, definitely do your research, um, and make sure that you cover everything as well. Like when you go into an investigation, you want to make sure that you get EVPs beforehand. Do like a thorough sweep of the property. Do the interior. Get thermal, get temperatures just before you start. I mean, that's what you need to do. Definitely.
Karen, it's because you're a brave chick. You are one tough mama.
I know. Going by yourself.
I always have a stroke when she goes in somewhere by herself. And I'm not thinking, it's just because you never know who's in there, and they're going to grab you or something's going to happen. Or, the floorboard or something's weak and you fall through it and you get hurt. So, Karen's a rock star.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
she's also very experienced. So I wouldn't recommend new people doing that, because you just don't know.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Um, so what projects do you have going on for the future? Do you have anything going on?
If I ever figure out the editing thing, guys, I've got a couple of things I'd like to put out. Editing is a nightmare for me, so my friend Bill's going to help me with that. That was the reason for the video today, when I went out to go do a video today. But I can't have the video because the property is off limits. So I'm just going to have to work with what I've got and hopefully put out something cute for the history of that place. And then there's a big project that I've been working on for a few months. Again, now I have all of my still shots of the area. Now I want to run through with video and recorder and then capture that and then put that together. So it's I don't know when it'll be out. Like I said, I'm new to that's what it's raw paranormal for a reason, because editing is not my forte.
Editing's
I'd
hard
rather
work.
just stick out a raw. And the thing is, you want to put out a raw video, but then everybody's like, "Oh, well, that's done really crappy," because they're used to the flash and the refined edges, and I appreciate that when other people do it, but for me, I'm thinking, well, just put it on there and you guys have at it. But everybody goes, "No, you can't do that." So.
Oh, definitely. Oh, can't wait to see what's in store for you. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get it all together. Who knows when, but it started. The editing thing is, I'm trying to overcome those obstacles.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's hard because, you got some other things going on, so I fit it in when I can.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So I forgot to ask you, have you explored different cultural beliefs?
Yes, I have. And I think anybody that has any kind of need for spiritualism, please check out all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always tell everybody there is a bit of truth in every belief, and every shoot just takes a certain group or parts of the Bible, and then they're an offshoot. And I just think it's important that you have to be open. You really do, because the bottom line is, if you do believe, there is only one God. He created it all. And that even means he created all of these offshoots of different beliefs and traditions. And, it's all just the same thing, just called something different. And that's how I look at it, So whether you're calling him, God, or, the belief in, the Buddhism and, even Wiccan beliefs, it's goddess. Okay. It's still who created all of that. It's him, the one creator. And I piss a lot of people off when I say stuff like that, but that's the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
Something just doesn't appear for no reason. There's always somebody that made it. So, this vast universe, all these planets, everything that's there, where did it all come from? It just didn't show up one day. It was created somehow. So whether you believe in just strictly science or a supreme being is your choice. And I never, push any of my beliefs or anything on anybody, ever. If you ask me, a question, you want to talk to me about it, then I'm more than willing. But as far as me saying, oh, you need to or you have to, no, because that's not right. You have to have your own belief base. You've got to believe what is comfortable for you. And if you don't believe in this or that, but you do believe in, like I say, okay, you might not believe in what I believe in Christianity, but you believe in, Mother Earth and everything about nature and all that, the Wiccan traditions. Not for nothing. That's Native Indian tribes. That's what's their belief. Mother Earth. She sustains us, which she does. But also, who created Mother Earth? I believe God. So that's, it's like I said, it's everybody has their belief. And I never, ever judge anybody on their belief. Because who says that I'm right? Nobody says that. I might not be right. So it's,
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I think that's a very, I wouldn't say raw subject, but it's, everybody has different beliefs, different religion, and everybody just has to accept who they are as well,
And that's the hard part about being human. I mean, we're nothing, it is, we do judge, even though we try not to. And it is hard. It's hard. You just have to remind yourself, nope, just because I don't believe that doesn't mean that it's not true for them. That's their truth, their belief. And who am I to shit on it?
Yeah.
Pretty much that's who am I to judge them? That's not my job to judge. We all face our judgment on that day. And the last thing I want to have them say is, well, you judged all these people. You did this. You did. I don't want that on me. So I always try not to have judgment and try to be open to the best of my ability.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to talk about quickly. So the podcast, Rawside Paranormal, what made you come up with that idea and how did you get started with that?
Believe it or not, it was friends that said, well, why don't you just start doing YouTube stuff?
Yeah.
And I was always, I'm used to doing Facebook Lives because I used to sell my jewelry and my leather products and all that stuff on Facebook. And that's how I built up an audience there. And it was fun. I said, well, why don't I start doing interviews? Because I want to know how these people do their thing. Not everybody does investigating the same. There is nobody that does it the same. I want to know about the equipment, how they use it, and what's their purpose and what their opinion is. Same thing like with the opinion with the apps. Some people love the apps. Some people are like me on the fence with the apps. Some people think apps are shit, don't use them. You each have your belief. And I think and we have a large following community. These people want to know what we're doing. They're curious. What do you do when you go on an investigation? What's the reason for it? I just think people want to know. And so I figured that would be the best way, is to have all of you come on and tell us what you do and tell us about your experiences. And even, like I said, just the people in chat, it's open. You want to join? Come on in. Let's have an adult open conversation. And that's one of, the basic rule, no bashing, no bullying, no judgment. If you can't handle those rules, then you're out.
Exactly.
Because everybody has the right to their opinion. As long as you get it across in a nice way and a respectful way, then people can have a great conversation. But unfortunately, the human race has issues. And until we overcome all of those issues, we will never advance any further than we are.
Exactly. When I started the podcast, it's going over a little over a year. I was nervous when I first started it. I felt like I was like a deer in headlights, but I love talking to different people that come on. I love sharing their experiences, just to get yourself out there,
Well, I mean, because like I said, it's fun. It's when you get the subs, and I make a big fool out of myself because my husband laughs at me. Oh God, I got another sub today. It's exciting because then that you're doing something that somebody is enjoying. As far as YouTube fame, I'm not looking for that. And if I get to be where I have a lot of subscribers, I'm going to love every second of it and appreciate every one of them. I'm not looking for big YouTube money. If it happens, then if it's a natural progression, then it's fantastic, because anything that is donated to my channel will go right back into the channel. So maybe someday I will be able to afford to get some of the gadgets and then because I'd love to test the living crap out of all of it. Even though I know a lot of people have, I think it still needs to be tested.
Yeah.
Tested and retested in every kind of environment and situation that we could dream up, just to finally say, yes, this is actually working and I'm going to use it. A possible way to communicate is always a plus. But I do it just because, it's like hanging out with my friends and we're just on a video phone call.
It's exactly. I mean, yes, you do get nervous. Yes, especially
I don't.
When, it's some people do. And it's like, this is who I am. You're who you are, and just have a good time, just no judging, no trolling, just have a good time. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Michael Michael mentioned on there, if you want him to be a mod, just let him know.
Yes, absolutely. Would love to, Michael. Thank you.
It's people are going to have disagreements. That's okay. But are you adult enough and mature enough to have a disagreement and still be friends with the person that you had the disagreement with?
Exactly.
Until we get to that point, the majority can't do that. So that's why it's always been a no politics or no religion, because people get pissed off.
Yeah.
And then stop talking to you. And it doesn't even have to be that. I mean, people get angry about the dumbest things. And then you have no clue. And then when you're talking to them, they're not speaking to me. What the hell did I do? And it could be just over the stupidest thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. It really is. So is there a particular place that you would love to investigate or explore?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
I
that
know
I'll
you must have a
never-
bucket list. I have a bucket list, like I don't even know
We
how
all have
long,
them,
but
yeah.
what's your top ones?
Like I said, I would never. I'd love to go to the UK. The history there, and it's the part that the history is important to me. I love the history behind the buildings, and I just I know I'll never make it there because I don't like to fly.
Yeah,
I have a fear of flying, so that'll never happen. And yeah, right now, yeah, I heard it that things in the UK are going a little crazy. So everybody says I don't come right now. So let's see, locally, I don't know because I have access to any of them if I want. But let's see, the top of the list locally would be, I think, a Beardsley Manor. It's called. It's actually another type of castle structure that was turned into a restaurant. And the bricks were actually brought over from England that created the building. And it has a lot of activity. Actually, it was actually done on television. The TAPS team from Rhode Island went there and had it on television. They did an investigation. What they found, I don't know because I missed that episode, but I know people that have been there and gone there and said, yeah, there's stuff that goes on there. And there's also a cemetery that's connected with the property. And it has a lot of folklore to it as far as a green mist that rolls in at night and apparitions walk the grounds. And I've never experienced that property yet, but eventually I have to take a ride out there and just sit out there and wait.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to go to Ireland. I would love to go to Leap Castle. There's many places I would love to go. Definitely.
Yeah, it's just I would love it. And I've had an opportunity to go to the UK. A dear friend offered to pay to take me with her, and I can't bring myself. I think once they knock me out cold and get me on the plane, then I'm good. But as far as me walking on there voluntarily, no, I don't think so.
Wow.
Which is really odd because I was always the girl that, the scariest ride at the park, I was first in line. I didn't care if you hung me by my feet and swung me around, I would do it. Now, I think it's the older you get, the more of a chicken you become when it comes to stuff like that.
I mean, I honestly don't mind flying. I enjoy flying. I would rather drive. Even like when Angelina, we all got together and went to Penhurst. It was a long drive, but, we enjoyed it,
I already
Some
tells me
drives are good.
once you get on the plane, I'd be good. But like I said, the point is, somebody would actually have to push me on.
Really?
Just shove me on there. That's I don't know.
Are you afraid of heights?
No, not at all. I think it's it's not having any control, and then that's not like I'm a control freak. But see, when you're on the ground and you're driving, you are controlling the vehicle that you're in. Here, you're in a plane over 30,000 feet in the air. You have no control whatsoever.
Yeah.
Except for holding on yourself and kissing your ass goodbye. That's the only thing, the only control you got. So you're putting your life in strangers' hands, and it bothers me that, because it's not like, okay, everybody has a parachute and they can jump out, so. Of course, it's not like they let you have one anyway.
Yeah, I know, definitely. That's
what it is. Afraid of dropping out of the sky. When you get it, because car accident's bad. Yeah, but you're not dropping 30,000 feet before you hit the ground. You're already there. So yeah, that's an issue. Dropping out of the sky.
Yeah, and I tell you, after the 9/11 experience, it took me a long time to get back on the plane.
It's scary.
Yeah,
it's scary. But I think, once you get in there, then and I'm locked in. That's it. You got to go. So
yeah.
They say people are, I'm not afraid of heights at all. That which drives my husband nuts because he's afraid of heights. And when I do some certain things around the house, he always yells at me. Hanging out a window, or I'm, hanging over, we're on the second floor, so I'll be hanging over the railing of the porch and he's yelling at me. I go, I'm holding on to the post there. It's not going, unless it gets pulled out, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, there are more train and car accidents than plane crash. Yes, you're right. But I do think it's because there's no, like I said, it's a control thing. So like you see something coming, you could swerve to miss it. You're not driving the plane. You have no control in the plane. You're just sitting there. And so if something happens, it's, well, you to hold on and hope you make it to the ground in one piece. But yeah, I think if I did it once, then I'd probably be hooked.
Yeah. It's easy peasy. Once you do it once, you'll be all set. You'll be all set. Definitely. I'm just seeing if there's any questions out there. I don't see any new ones. Michael said, I'm not a fan of the splat sound either. LOL. Well,
yes. Yeah. I think actually they say something like that. The majority people would end up having a heart attack before they hit the ground. Because your fear is so bad that it makes your heart burst. So I don't know if that's true, but it just, no, it's okay. Like my husband always jokes around me. He doesn't fly either because him and electronics do not get along. It's no joke. No matter what it is that's electronic, my husband will touch it and it'll be totally screwed up. It stops working. It doesn't work right. Something goes wrong. And this happens every time. So he says, I'd get on a plane and he goes, it would crash because I'd be on it and all the stuff would stop working. So I said, well, that's a great way to look at it. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So where can everybody find you?
You find me
where
here
should
on
everybody
YouTube.
look for you?
On the Rawside Paranormal channel is where you find me. I also have a Facebook page, Rawside Paranormal Facebook, and I also have my regular Facebook page under Laura. You guys, you'll see me. It's not hard to find me. Also, just you'll find me here. This is where I'll be talking to you all and interviewing new people and trying to stay out of trouble.
Exciting.
Trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Looking forward to your next magazine. Definitely.
I think you guys are going to like it. I think it was fun. It was fun the first time because it was exciting because it was the first time ever doing it. But this one is just, it's got some fun stuff in it. And I've got some great submissions from people. And I think everybody's going to like it. And I'm hoping people will continue to submit. If you have submissions, guys, just send it to my email, rawparanormal8@gmail.com. And I'll get it. And if it's in time for the issue before I have to put it out, it'll go in there. Otherwise, I'll save it for the next one. The deadline for September's issue is the 18th of this month. I have to have everything by the 18th of August so that I have time to get it in. And I usually would be a week later, but I have a wedding that I am performing at the end of the month. So my last week of the month is taken up for a wedding. I have nothing planned for that. I have to officiate and help with all of that stuff for a wedding. So if you're interested, just, kick me that email with all of your goodies and I'll get them in.
Good. Oh, Michael.
And any great ideas as well with, as far as the magazine, you think something that we could put in it, add to it to make it better. That's why I said it's community based. We'll take all ideas and try to work them all in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can answer a couple more questions before we end the show. Michael actually has a question. What is the hardest thing that you ever had to tell someone on an investigation after to coming to your conclusion about the location?
Question, because I don't do residentials for one because of the commitment. But I have had advised people as far as, I've been asked questions about what should they do. And I always tell them, just get a competent and trustworthy paranormal group in there. And have them, and then they do, do the right job, do the interview. Check the residents' backgrounds, make sure that they're okay mentally and stable before you even start.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, and I just let them know, like I had actually somebody where they lived, the homestead was put on Indian burial ground. So the young girl was having issues with something was coming to the window. I should say someone, not something, because it was an image of a man. And he would only come, he was on the outside and would only come to the window when she was home alone. And it would never cross the threshold into the home. So that's telling me that it's the ground that has a haunting. And so I told her the best chance you could get, you could have priests and ministers or whatever come in, but it's not the home, it's the grounds. And seeing that it has a Native American connection, I told her to contact the local tribe of that area so that they could send their holy man and have them, because they have different rituals and ceremonies that they do to take care of this. And so if it is, Indian land and there are old graves on that land, then those are the ones that have to do what they've got to do to put those people at rest. But the thing was that they never ended up getting to that point because they ended up moving. So hopefully whoever is there on that homestead, they would do the same thing. Because like I said, you're not going to do, I can't do what, the holy man of a tribe would do, because it's totally, totally different. And of course you have different beliefs. So you're going to go by what, their belief system is.
Yeah.
And they're the best ones to handle that.
Yeah. And I agree with
you.
you.
Answer the question.
Yeah, I agree with you. When I started my group, that's all we did is residential. And it was tough. Some of them were tough, like mentally and, physically, and, you just have to be careful when you get involved with that. Plus it's legal as well. So, then we just went into locations. It's the easiest way.
Yes, because then you don't have to worry about families. Because, we're doing this and people are very impressionable, by what we say or what we're telling them. So we could tell them anything and they're going to believe it. So that's why I always say research the team that you go for, guys. Make sure they are legit. And you're going to know if they're legit because they're going to ask you, well, gee, we need medical, documentation from your physicians stating that you're sound of mind before I even think about coming in there and doing this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if they might have a mental illness in their background. They could be dependent on the substances, and if that's what's going on, you don't want to get involved in that. Because no matter what you do, they're always going to see something because they're not stable. So actually, if you ever get Boo Paranormal on here, Jeff, he has done many, 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 many residentials, and he's the guy to totally ask about that. The commitment is long-term for some of them, years.
Yeah. Yep.
And you have to tread, like you said, very carefully, personally, legally, on both sides.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
I'm not
think,
saying don't do it. You know, I mean,
yeah,
you might be help, but if you're not willing to take on that commitment, then don't even go there.
exactly. And it is a commitment.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, bye, Karen. Thanks for coming in, sweetie, sweet. Karen's such a doll.
yeah. Well, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I would say that's a wrap, huh?
All right. I think it went well. How about yourself?
Yeah. It went very well. Thanks so much
I
for coming
enjoyed
on.
it.
Yeah. And again, please check out Laura and Rawside Paranormal and our Facebook page. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, Bad to the Bone. Please do the same. And you can find me on my podcast, Paranormal Happy Hour. And I also have a group, Central Mass Paranormal Society. We have Paranormal Happy Hour has actually a YouTube as well as a Facebook. So please follow all
Show
of
us all
us.
some love.
Yes, please
Love,
do.
guys. It's all free. So it just really helps us out to let us know that you guys appreciate what we're doing, and let us know that you like us.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
everyone, much love. Take care. And we'll see everybody soon enough.
Right. And see you guys all on the raw side.
Yes, yes.